Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and today we're doing a very special Longbox Archaeology because we're also going to be dollar bin diving in my own personal dollar bin. Now, the last couple videos, of course, I've been doing my great dollar bin trading challenge where I'm trying to trade up from dollar bin finds all the way up to an All-Star Comics number 8. The trading's been going great, meeting lots of cool new people, getting trades with all you guys, helping people find stuff what they want. So it's been a lot of fun. But of course, a big part of the challenge is that if my pool drops below 20 books, I add in new books that I'm finding in dollar bins. A lot easier to do when there's conventions. The last couple of years I've really been hampered in terms of looking in dollar bins, but I have quite a few things stored up from dollar bin diving over the past 10 years or more. And so what I thought I'd do is I just spent a bunch of time organizing my own dollar bin so I could figure out exactly what I have. And I thought I'd take you on a tour of my dollar bin so you can get an idea of how I do the dollar bin diving and what I have. So when I go dollar bin diving, I'm looking for three things. First and foremost, of course, I'm looking for cool books for my own personal collection. A lot of times I don't really find that much because of my weird collecting taste, but I do end up with a lot of offbeat, strange, and interesting sort of indie books, and once in a while I'll find something cool for my own personal collection. But of course, I'm also on the lookout for value, and there's two different ways that I do that. There's, of course, the easy part, which is if you find something in a dollar bin that's worth something right now. And that does happen. I found a number of things over the years that was worth a bunch of money at the time that I found it. But the other thing is, I find stuff in dollar bins sometimes where I'm like, I don't think this is really worth much now, but it has potential. So I'll buy it for 50 cents or 30 cents or $1 or however much it is, and I'll throw it in my dollar bin box and I'll wait to see if it ever becomes valuable. And once in a while, it does. And then other times, I have the most random crap in here for years and years and years, and it's never going to be worth anything. So we're going to take you through that. I'll show you first what I have that's worth some money right now so you can see what might be coming up in future dollar bin challenges. So when I open up some slots, I've got books ready to go into those slots. So I'm going to be showing you those, and I'm going to be going over what they're currently worth and how I got them. And if you see something in there that you want to trade for, let me know, and I'll put it in the next round of the trading challenge when there's slots available. So let me know what you think about the stuff in there, because I'm not always sure what to put in there. I've put in some stuff that I thought would be cool. Nobody was interested in it, and maybe I should have done something different. And then the second half of the box is all the stuff that's not worth anything yet, but that I've picked up over the years, some of it very recently. Some of the stuff you're going to see here I actually just got, and the back issue hauls haven't even aired yet. Over the next couple months, you're going to see me actually buying some of the stuff that we'll see today. And there's other stuff that's been in here for 10 years, and it's never going to be worth anything. I don't know what I was thinking when I bought it. So you get to have a laugh at the goofy stuff that I've put in my long-term speculation dollar bin box. But everything in here, this is a pure dollar bin. Every single book in this whole bin I paid $1 or less for, a lot of them significantly less. So we'll be going over all of that. So hopefully you'll enjoy this look at my own dollar bin and some of the thought processes that I have. And again, if you see anything that you really want to trade for, let me know. Next time I have a slot in the trading challenge open, I'll put that in there. I have some ideas of what I'm going to do next, and we'll go over that right now. Let's jump right into the box. Okay, so we got the dollar bin cam set up so you can look into the box, pretend that you're at a comic book store and you're going through the dollar bin. And of course, the dollar bins, nothing is bagged and boarded, so this isn't a real experience. But this is kind of like it's almost like playing Doom. But instead of shooting someone with the BFG, you're pulling out dollar bin finds. So I have this organized from most expensive to least expensive, and we're gonna get back to about here. So we have a pretty good section here in the front that is stuff that I currently have as potential additions to the trading challenge, and then everything behind here we'll get to. Some of it has some value, some of it doesn't, and some of it's just nonsense. So here we go. First up, this is probably going to be the next thing that goes into the trading challenge. It's Miracle Man #1. It's actually a quite nice copy. I got this not that long ago, within the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, out of a dollar bin. And it just seemed to me that with like issues 14 and 15 being worth so much money, at some point this might become valuable. And that point has arrived. There's been a lot of talk about Miracle Man being integrated into the MCU, in not just in the comics, but theoretically into the movies as well, which I don't think is going to happen because that doesn't make any sense to me. But as a result of the chatter, this is picked up. It's now a $50, $60 book. So that's probably the next thing that's going to go in the trading challenge. Next we have here Lover's Lane #37. Now this is a nice mid-grade copy. Valuing this is kind of hard. This is from a brief period in Lover's Lane where they did drawn covers. Usually they did photo covers. They went to the drawings. He's saying, "Don't be silly, baby. I love all the girls until I leave them." And he's got grabbed a hold of her wrists. The other drawn covers in this mini run are much more salacious and worth a lot more money than this. But it is a nice copy of a comic that's not that easy to find. I got this for 30 cents at a big blowout sale at my LCS. If I were selling this on like the CGC forums, I'd be asking for $50. So that's what I'll probably be asking in trade. But I've been holding off putting it into the trading challenge because some of the other offbeat genre stuff that I've had in there hasn't really garnered much interest. So I'm not sure about this one. I'm still holding off. Next up, we're going to have a whole video about this on Wednesday. I teased this last time. It's Star Slayer #2, and right behind that is Star Slayer #2, 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 and Star Slayer #2, and these are only some of the copies. In fact, I keep finding more. When we see the video on Wednesday, I'm going to tell you that I currently have 14 copies. Actually, I found more after I recorded that. So I think I currently have either 15 or 16 copies of this, and I already traded one away. This is a book that's had a bit of a roller coaster ride. Again, we're going to discuss this more in the next video on Wednesday, but after the Disney announced they're doing a reboot movie, this had spiked up to about $50, from 15 up to about 50. It's now settled back down. At the time I'm recording this, it's more of a $30 to $35 book. There's one in the trading challenge now, and there will probably continue to be copies of this in the trading challenge for a long time to come. Because it's kind of going to be a bread and butter issue for me because I have so many, and it's such a cool comic. It's such a cool comic. First, Rocketeer, great back cover by Dave Stevens. So it's got everything going for it, a movie hype, and I happen to have a whole bunch of them. But I don't want to have more than one at a time in the trading challenge. So as long as there's one in there, I won't be putting a second one in. That'll leave slots open for other things such as Longshot #1. It's a nice copy. I mean, it was bounced around in a bin for a while, so it's got one of the main things you see in bin books. There's a couple things, and we'll discuss one of the other ones in a minute. But one of the main things is rounded corners. Rounded corners here and here on the top in particular, because they're not put in with boards. Otherwise, this is actually a really nice copy. And this is a book that I picked up a copy of this. I bought this whole series new off the stands when I was first getting into comics, and wow, was I confused. But the art by Art Adams is so great. This is the first appearance of Longshot. It's the first appearance of Spiral. Part nostalgia and part just thinking this could be worth something because of the first appearances and the great art. I picked this up just a few years ago in a dollar bin. Now it's about a $30 book. I expect that to continue to go up. So we'll be seeing this soon in the dollar bin trading challenge. Here's one I'm still not 100% sure I'm actually going to put in. So take it with a grain of salt. It's Ghost Rider #1. But it also is signed and remarked by Mark Teixeira. And actually there's a second signature on it. and I don't remember who it is. You can see there's a second. Here's to share. And then there's a second. I don't know who that is. I can't remember. But basically, you got this out of a dollar bin. Mark Teixeira does a lot of shows in the area here. He signs for free. He draws for free, which can be a problem if people take advantage of it. And so, or he used to. I think now he charges like $2 or something minimal. I'm not even sure about that. But yeah, so you can see I got this signed on 2013. That's the same time I picked this up. I think I got it at the same, out of a dollar bin at the same show he was at. I'm a big fan of Ghost Rider. I loved this comic when I was a kid. I got it new off the stand, so had to get it signed. Now I've kind of gotten rid of a lot of my Ghost Rider collection. So I'm on the fence because it does have a lot of sentimental meaning for me, and yet this is about a $30 book without the signature and the sketch. So there's something where I would be asking closer to $50, and in trade. So we'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Next up, Punisher #1. Nice copy. It's about a $30 book right now. Here's another book that I bought new off the stands. But this is a copy that I got actually at an antique store. There were several other books that I got at the same time, including a Preacher #1, which I got out of a dollar bin. That, unfortunately, I gave away a long time ago because I've had this for probably not that long, 7 years maybe. But the Preacher one I only kept for a couple months before I gave it to someone, unfortunately, or else that would have already been in the dollar bin. Here's 2 copies of X-Force #116. First appearance of Dupe. First appearance of all the various members of the Ecstatics. Not quite all of them, but most of them have their first appearance here. One of these copies is nicer than the other. This is about a $30 book. The time I got this out of dollar bins, it was about a $10 book. I've been holding on to it, and that's paid off. This is a book I'm always on the lookout for in dollar bins. Here's a book, on the other hand, I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to put it in the dollar bin trading challenge, just because it's such a niche book. It's Books of Zamzathzia #1, and this is by Wendy Snow. She later went on to do some professional comics work in the 80s, but this is a self-published work. She came out in 1977, I think. Might have been 76. And at the time, she was a cosplayer known for dressing up as Red Sonja and appearing in the Wizard and Sonja show with Frank Thorne. And so if you have a Savage Sword of Conan 28, there's a picture of her inside, a photo of her as Red Sonja. She's also drawn into a story by Frank Thorne in that issue. And Frank Thorne gets a credit on here as a like a thank you. He drew the cover for issue 2 of Books of Zamzathzia, which is it's not more rare. My understanding is there's only 1,000 copies of each of them, but it's more desirable because of all the Frank Thorne collectors. I happen to have just bought a set of these, and so and now I have a double. This is one I got for 50 cents, so this is going back out in the wild. It's just I need to be sure someone's going to trade for it before I put it in, because as cool as I think it is, it doesn't have the sort of broad appeal as a lot of stuff that I have in here. But this is something where it goes for about $20 or so. I would ask $25 in trade, because there's only 1,000 made, and it's from the 70s, so it's not like a modern variant with manufactured or scarcity. Next up, we have a pair of Dave Stevens covers. It's Alien Worlds #2. And #4, which I think is one of his best covers. I had a lot of Dave Stevens covers that I got at dollar bins, but I've gotten rid of most of them. These individually are, I think it's hard to say right now because prices are going up on all of these. I think they're like 10 to 15 each right now. I would probably bundle them together in one lot if I put them in the trading challenge, unless they continue to go up. And then once they get above 20, I'll probably break them out individually. But there's just I always used to get Dave. Anytime I see a Dave Stevens cover for $1, I'd get it. So I did have a few, but most of them are gone now. Here is the Heap. Skywald. This is one of the other swamp monsters. Came out about the same time as Swamp Thing and Man Thing. Everyone drawing from the same whatever was in the zeitgeist. And this is about a $25 book. It's lower grade, but even so, is still about a $25 book. So that'll probably go in the trading pool at some point. Marvel Tales 138, reprinting Amazing Spider-Man #1. This is featured in a previous video. I got this for $1, or 50 cents actually, at a store, and I bought it specifically to craft with. I was going to cut it up, but actually I couldn't find the sort of... Amazing Fantasy 15 has all these iconic panels. This one, not so much. So I left it whole, and it's actually quite nice. It's probably a 7.5 or an 8. And this is a book that's getting up there, $15, $20 in a higher grade for this. So people, Amazing Fantasy 15 and Spider-Man 1, they've all priced themselves out. So this run starting with 137, where they started over the reprints with Amazing Fantasy 15. A lot of these have some value now. $15, $20+ books in higher grade, like this one. These are not higher grade. It's Richard Dragon Kung Fu Fighter 18. It's the first Bronze Tiger. And Richard Dragon Kung Fu Fighter #5, First Lady Shiva. These are both about $20 books, even in this condition. They're sort of lower mid-grade, around the 4.5 range. I was putting this whole run together out of dollar bins. You can see the video I did with Metarog about this a while ago. After I finished the run, I read it and it sucked. So I've decided not to keep it and get rid of it. So these that I got in the 50-cent bins are going into this, and then I just dumped the rest of them. Okay, here's another multiple. It's Icon #1. There's currently a static #1 in the trading pool. I traded for that one. Icon #1, I have several copies. I got this at the same LCS stores I got the Star Slayer #1s, so they're 30 cents each. I have 4 of them up here in the front. There's a 5th one. It's funny. One of them was still bagged in the collector's bag, and I opened it with the idea that maybe it would be so high enough grade to send to CGC. That was definitely the lowest grade of all the copies that I have. So we'll see that later in the back end of the box. Because I want to hold on to it, but it's not as nice as these. So I wouldn't consider putting it in the trading challenge until I run out of the nicer copies. I do still have the bag that it came in, the collector's bag with, whatever, the other stuff. Here are some of the newer ones that I just got. Now you're going to see me talk about these again when I get to my store visits. The store that I got almost all of these next batch at. They're all from the same 50-cent bins. Superman 77. It's the second printing. So this is a rare second print. It's worth about $20. Not really worth that much is Action Comics 685 third print. So what I'll do is if I ever put this in the trading challenge, it would be basically this for 20, and I'd throw in the other one for free. Spectacular Spider-Man 178. Didn't know it was worth anything. It's interesting. It just took off right with the week or two before I was at the comic store. So I think this was just luck that I happened to see it at the right time. And the speculation for this, what I'm excited about, is it doesn't have anything to do with the movies. The character that has their first appearance in here is teased to be a new villain called Queen Goblin, who's like the female version of Green Goblin. Speculation at this point, but right now this is going for $20 to $30. We'll see whether that goes up or down, depending on whether the speculation is true or not. This is a detached cover, and it's got a hole from Rat Chew, but it is a Spectacular Spider-Man 64, the first appearance of Cloak and Dagger. obviously, grade is really bad here, but a copy with a detached cover and significant creasing on the cover just sold on eBay for $20. So I think if I put this in the trading pool, I'd be asking about that. I mean, it is a pretty significant, mid-tier key from this era. So for a lot of these keys, there's sort of a barrier, a minimum entry level where you have to pay a certain amount to get a copy regardless of the condition, and I think $20 is about right for this. It was cool to find this in the dollar bin. This little stretch here that I just showed you, these last three, they got them all in the same 50-cent bin, and there's more later we're going to show you shortly that I got in the same one that I'm holding for later. Here's an odd one. It's Marvel Superheroes Fall 1992. Now this is a $25 to $40 book in nicer condition. What's weird about this is, yeah, it's got a couple dings here and here that would hold it back regardless. But you can see this very strange production defect here. This is a square bound, so it was glued. And there's a stripe on both this side and the back where the glue has come through the cover. It's very odd. Obviously, it affects the grade significantly. This is the main reason I haven't put this in the trading challenge yet. It's also valuable for a very bizarre reason. You can see up here it says Ms. Marvel. The original Ms. Marvel series from the 70s was canceled just before Chris Claremont was going to debut Rogue. And so the issue is already done, but it never came out. So that's why when you start Avengers Annual 10, it begins with Rogue defeating Ms. Marvel, and we've never seen the character before. But that's because the story where she fights Ms. Marvel was never published. But since it was already done way in the future in 1992, like 12, 15 years later, they finally published what was supposed to be the first appearance of Rogue. So in continuity, her first appearance is actually in this story, and that's given this some value now. Hard to say how much in this condition. It would be a $15 to $20 ask for trade. I think it's a cool thing for X-Men and Rogue fans, but yeah. So then we got another book I just got. It's Rocket Raccoon #1. Just got this. It has a $10 price tag on it, but it was actually $1 in the dollar bin. Again, you'll see when the store visit where I picked this up. It's not in great condition. Most of it's pretty solid, but it has a bend and some dirt and stuff up here in this corner. So in this condition, I think it is about somewhere a $10, maybe a $15 book. But this is one that I've paired with a different book that I paid 60 cents for. It's Marvel Age 25. This has the preview for the Rocket Raccoon miniseries, and so it's got a Rocket Raccoon cover. I believe this cover comes between Hulk 271 and Rocket Raccoon #1. So it's the second cover appearance, and that book is also a $10 to $15 book. So what I would do if I put this in the trading challenge is have the pair of them, probably asking $20 for the set. Long story behind this, but you'll have to watch the video for it. I don't feel like getting into it. It's too complicated. But I ended up getting this recently for under $1. And it's a Secret Empire #1. It's got a J. Scott Campbell, I think, variant cover. He did a variant cover for every issue. Again, I got it for less than $1. The comic store had it priced at $40. I think it's worth more like $15. It's the sort of thing where it's one of these variant covers. It is a retailer incentive. I think it's a get one of these for every 10 copies you order. So it's not that rare. There are people that I guess would put the set together. The main thing is no one cares about Secret Empire anymore. So this is something that was only valuable when this was relevant. So I'm not sure I'm ever gonna figure out any use for this, but we'll see. Got this a long time ago in a dollar bin. I say a long time ago. Actually, it wasn't that long ago. Now that I just said that out loud, it was actually only about 4 years ago. It's a solid lower mid-grade copy of Tales to Astonish 87. I will want to thoroughly double check this before I put it in the trading challenge, because I got this from the same dollar bin that I got the Hit Comics 53 that was in the trading challenge originally, and they did not have any note that there was a page missing from that comic. And I even talked to the dealer at the show asking, I was basically like, are you sure this Hit Comics 53 is supposed to be in the dollar bin? And they just looked at me like I was an idiot. That's because they knew there's a page missing. They just didn't tell me. So as far as I know, this is complete though. So I'll double check to make sure. But if it is in this condition, again, it's about a $15 book. It is a cool, Silver Age, Submariner, and Hulk. So this is something we might see in the trading challenge. We got here another Marvel Age that I paid 60 cents for. You can see the sticker right there. And this is Marvel Age 19. This has the Star Comics preview. It also has the Spider-Man black costume. But this is well after the costume had debuted. I think this was coming out around the time of Secret Wars number 8, so that's why he's on the cover in the black costume, but he'd already been wearing that for a while in the regular Spider-Man titles. Anyway, this is a $10 to $15 book right now because of the early black costume cover. These books here in this section are all in the $10 to $15 range. It's New X-Men 129. This is the first appearance of someone named Ava. I don't know. It's the second of Phantom X and the first Phantom X cover. So it's about a $10 to $15 book right now. I currently have a lot of X-Men comics in the trading challenge. I may add this to that lot to juice that lot up a little bit. Or if I end up trading away the X-Men 221 individually, because I do think there's going to be interest in people just want that from the lot, then what I might do is take the other two out of the trading challenge and put them in here with this and work on putting together a bigger lot of X-Men stuff. We have here the True Believers Amazing Fantasy 15. This is a $10 to $15 book for some reason. I have bundled with it the Marvel Milestone edition of X-Men number 9. I may keep that in my collection, actually. It's not really worth that much. It's not worth that much more than the $3.50 I paid for it. So I might keep that now that I don't have X-Men 9. But if I don't, I'll bundle it with this just as a bonus throw-in. And finally, low grade but complete. It's Archie's Pals and Gals number 20. It's a giant size from early 60s. So I think even though it's low grade, it's probably worth in the $10 to $15 range. It's not really worth enough to use a slot in the trading challenge for now, but I have it just in case at some point I decide to. So those are the books that are all dollar bin finds that are sort of on the more valuable end. They range from $10 to $60 each for the whole front section. And then we have the next section. These are the books that are either not worth something or I'm not quite sure what to do them or whatever. Where there's a big run of Ghost Rider here. I got these in 50-cent bins. Late issues of Ghost Rider. I may do a lot of these in the trading challenge if someone really wants them. It's issues 80. And then there's 82. There's 8 of them. There's 8 issues. 83. 84. 85, 86, 87, and 89. I got these at the same 50-cent bins and just at the recent store visit as those other ones that I mentioned. I mean, some of these, like the 87 and the 89, there are copies that have sold for over $20 each on eBay. Generally, all of these are somewhere in the $8 to $12 range if you buy them online because they're low print runs. All of these suffer from the same defect, which is they weren't bagged or boarded, but they were put in a box that didn't have enough comics in it, so everything collapsed on them, so they all have a bunch of bends through the middle of the book. I think they could all be pressed out. I'm hoping just keeping them bagged and boarded and here will do wonders for them. It's possible I might just sell those for the money. I'm not really sure what to do with them. So for now, they're in this part. I have a couple runs, sets that I'm working on here for potential trading challenge stuff. And here's another one. Again, these are all books from the same comic store. So you're going to see some repetition when you get to that video where I bought these all. But they're all Todd McFarlane covers. And I'm working on putting together a Todd McFarlane cover lot for the trading challenge. Some of these more obscure covers of his. Individually, these are mid-grade, so they're like $5 to $10 books. But if I can get a bunch of them, I might do a McFarlane lot. Here's several copies of Zombie number 0. Again, a recent pickup. You'll see these. Whoops. You'll see these in a video that I'm going to show you soon from a store pickup. This was the 5th of the milestone line, titles to start. And some of the other ones have picked up some steams, not so much this one. So this is a hold for the future. Night Mask number 1, I don't know. I like the character. Of all the characters from New Universe, I think he has the most potential. Let me think about that for a second. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. That doesn't mean that it'll ever come to fruition. More from my recent 50 cent honey hole. It's Archer and Armstrong number 0. Here's one that I was really excited to find, actually. It's Legion of Superheroes 298, and a pretty nice copy. It's the first appearance of Amethyst. So if I can find these, if I find these cheap, I'm going to buy them even if they're not in dollar bins. But if I can get these in dollar bins, that's great, because that's a book that I'm really into for the future. Here's Batgirl Special number 1. Mike Mignola Batgirl cover. Personal favorite of mine. No one else seems to care, so this is something that I may be holding on to forever. Mid-grade ROM 75. Last issue, kind of hard to find. Can't be reprinted unless they get a special deal. So here's Superman 22. I've got a couple of these. I know Shaxper on the Classic Comics Forum, when he was working on this run, they were very expensive for some reason. So I picked up 2 or 3 of these out of dollar bins when I've seen them, but they're actually not really worth anything anymore. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know why they were worth money to begin with. Astro City number 1/2. I bought this to give to somebody. Every time I see this in a 50 cent or dollar bin, I buy it so I can give it away because it's one of the best single issue comics ever. Here's a Runaways number 2. This is not worth anything. If it was the first issue, it would be worth, $50 or $100. Second issue, nobody cares. Squirrel Girl number 1, second series. So, again, probably never going to be worth anything. Here's a couple early Kevin Kellers. So this is actually Veronica 208, but they've changed the title. Veronica Presents Kevin Keller number 2, and I also have the next issue. It's 209. Veronica Presents Kevin Keller number 3. When I see the Veronica issues starring Kevin, I pick them up cheap. Character made a big splash at the time, and then that interest has faded a lot, but it still has potential, and those have very, very low print runs. So here's a Marvel Age Annual 4, first appearance of Damage Control, and if I remember correctly, it's not it's a preview of the series, but it's not a regular Marvel Age preview where they are taking the first 4 pages of the comic and printing it as a tease. This is a unique story that is a prequel to the series. So it's not your typical preview. It is its own real first appearance. It's not just an advertisement. This also features a really cool cover by Art Adams, so you can't go wrong with that. Magnus Robot Fighter. Number 5, 6, 5, 6, and 7. Now the cards have been taken out of these. You had to take the cards out and mail them in to get like a Magnus number 0. So these are missing the cards, which affects the value a fair amount. But these are early issues. First appearance of Rye. So this is the first appearance of Rye. So yeah, out of a dollar bin, you know, why not? Why not take a flyer? Speaking of last issues, Power Shazam 47. It's like a, I don't know, $10 issue maybe, $8 to $10. Last issue, not so easy to find, lower print run. Here's another one of these. I'm probably going to be buried with those. Marvel Age 89. It's got a preview for the New Warriors. It's also got a preview for Deathlock. I don't know. Let's see. We got... Whoops. Okay. We got Amethyst number 1. Anytime I see an Amethyst number 1, I pick it up. I'm not sure there's a point to that. I keep thinking something's going to happen with this character, but if something does... First of all, the Legion of Superheroes 298 is going to be the bigger book. Also, there's a price variant, a rare price variant for this, which will be more important. So, I don't know. But still, I just can't help myself. I have another one we'll see later. The back side of this, I've got Black Panther 2099. Some of the 2099 books have been picking up a little bit of heat recently, particularly Spiderman 2099. This has some rubbing on it. It's not high grade. It's more of a mid-grade book. But again, why not? First appearance of a character. Let me hold off on those. Those are in the wrong place. Here's another Marvel Age Annual 4. So you could see, when they announced the Damage Control TV show, I was like, hot diggity. But no, that fell through. Let's see. What do we have here? Here's some more. Here's some early Valiants. It is Solar, Man of the Atom, number 3. And number 4. These pre-Unity Valiants are not that easy to find. So again, dollar bins, why not? Let me just move these for now. Blood Syndicate number 1. Now here's another milestone. I'm big on picking up these milestone books if you can find them in dollar bins. And I have a bunch of these we're going to be seeing as we go. They just got mixed up. Invaders number 8. Not the first appearance of Union Jack. It seems like it is. It seems like it is. But he actually has the first appearance in the previous issue. Whoops. Here's a really nice newsstand copy of Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is about a $10 book maybe, but still hasn't really popped. Winter World, number 1. This was optioned for like a movie or TV show. Never happened. Star Slayer number 10. Now this is something I have several of these. Got these in the same thing as the other Star Slayers and the Icons and the Blood Syndicates. All 30 cents each. And I'm happy to hold on to these. I love Grimjack as a character, so I don't mind having extras. Speaking of which, here's Grimjack number 1. Same lot that I got. Here we have a Nexus Color number 1. So, Nexus published 3 issues. The first 3 issues of the series were black and white magazine size, and then they came out with the Color series, which ran for off and on for over 100 issues. I have 2 of these. Who knows? Nexus it's a great series, so you keep hoping that people will realize that. Warlord 27. I mean, this has writing all over the cover. I probably shouldn't have bothered, but it's the origin of Atlantis, which I think is going to play into Aquaman 2. Okay, here we go. I'm working on putting together a romance run. Now, set a lot for the trading challenge. So I have here some books, some romance books that I'm getting out of dollar bins. I've got a few of them here. A couple of Charltons. And I think I've got 3 Marvels. When I get enough to justify a lot, I'll be moving these into the trading challenge. I may or may not put with those some of these underground, they're more X-rated books, but Young Lust goes with that. And Yummy Fur. So those may or may not go with the romance. Right now I have 5 romance books. I would want to get that up to about 10, 8 to 10. I know I'm known for the romance stuff, so just thematically it would be fun to have a lot of romance books for the trading challenge. Here's a 2001 number 1. Keep waiting for this to be worth more. It's like a $5 to $10 book. It feels like it should be worth more, right? But here's another Veronica 208, which is the Kevin Keller number 2. Legion of Superheroes 259. This is the first issue of Legion of Superheroes. It was called Superboy in the Legion of Superheroes until issue 258. Here's where Superboy leaves the title and it just becomes, at last, Legion of Superheroes. A lot of these first issue books have got, eventually taken off. This one still has not. So I'm waiting on that. Another Star Slayer 10. Another Grimjack one. Here's the lower grade Icon number 1 that I mentioned. Marvel Age Annual 2. I don't know why I have this in here. No idea. Might be, it's the first appearance of the Phone Ranger, but I don't think anyone cares about that except me. I'm a big fan of Phone Ranger. Scout number 1. I don't actually know if this is the first appearance of Scout, but it's the first issue. When you see a first issue, a first appearance of an acclaimed title or character in a dollar bin, I just pick it up. So that's why I actually originally got this to read, but it's the first appearance of the second Kronos. It's a cool story. First issue of Chase. Everyone that reads this title says it's great, but it got canceled really fast. Here is an 80s book, Legend Lore number 1. It has like the first Guy Davis art. Swamp Thing number 1, really nice high grade copy, second series. Again, a series and a book that I think should be worth some money, but isn't. Let's see. Here's another Amethyst number 1, and what's on the back? It's the DC Superstar Holiday Special. This is like a $10 book, but I don't know what to do with it. So here's a couple newspaper giveaway Spiderman issues. Again, I don't know. They're cool. Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders missing. If you thought the Night Mask number 1 was a stretch, here's a Quasar number 1. Try not to laugh too hard at some of these books. Strike Force and Morituri number 1. This is a great title. I sold my complete run of this, but I still have this one. Marvel Age 54. It's a preview of the Spider-Man's wedding, Peter Parker's wedding. The cover is by John Romita, I think. I'm looking for the signature. It looks like it is. I don't see the signature though, so I could be wrong. It just struck me as something that should have some value, if only for the awesome cover, right? So far, nobody else seems to agree, even though a lot of other Marvel Ages have taken off, but Animal Man number 1, again, acclaimed series, first issue, worth nothing, but you never know. Marvel Age 8 with a Stan Lee cover. The other Stan Lee cover I think is 41, and that is worth 40 or 50 bucks. This one is taking out is picking up a little bit. I think it's like an $8 to $10 book. Madhouse 111. It's got a Star Wars parody. To the right audience, you might get $10 out of this, but here's a Wizard. It's a sneak preview issue of America's Best Comics. So it's a preview that came out before, like Promethea number 1 and Tom Strong and stuff. I don't know. Here's a bunch of Blood Syndicate number ones. This is where I got tired of putting the backing boards in. I was just like, there's so many of these things. Just got this. It's a Batman Beyond Rebirth number one. It's probably never going to be worth anything, but again, first issue, cool character. More Blood Syndicate ones. There's two covers. I have both of them. Another Nexus number one. Here's some Star Slayer number ones. So I have all the 2s, and I have all the 10s. I have some 5s somewhere as well. But I also have some copies of number 1. Ta-da! Warlord 48. Now this is another Atlantis tie-in. This is the first appearance of Arian, the Lord of Atlantis, in the... strike that. Rewind. This is the first appearance of Arak, Son of Thunder. Now, Arian also makes his first appearance in an issue of Warlord, but it's not this one. So, yeah, strike that. But this is the first appearance of Arak. Arian is a more important character. Black Canary number 1. Keep waiting for anyone to give a crap about this, but nobody does. Sealed collector's editions of Blood Syndicate 1. Like I said, I have a lot of these. And then finally, and all the way in the back... Oh, wait. Let me... here's an Adam Hughes Wonder Woman cover, but it's got a price tag on it. And then in the back, we have a Starman number 1 and number 0. First appearance of Jack Knight in the first issue of Starman. Those are great books, and... when they first came out, they were worth a lot of money. But now, not so much. So it's sort of hamstrung a little bit because James Robinson has a deal with DC that they're not going to use that character without his permission. After the end of Starman, Jack Knight's never appeared again. So I think that holds it back, even though it's an acclaimed run and a great character. It's something where... new audiences are not necessarily being introduced to how great the character is, so it's kind of stagnated. But who knows? It's always, I have 2 of those. I have my own full run of Starman as well as those. Those are dollar bin finds. So anyway, that's it. That's my dollar bin. Everything in here is dollar bin finds. Some of them are goofy. Some of them, I don't know what I was thinking, even wasting 50 cents on these and hoping... I'm going to go to the end of eternity if I'm waiting for some of these to ever be worth any money. But other ones, if Milestone takes off, I'm sitting on a gold mine. So, a lot of cool stuff. Let me know what you think of my dollar bin. And if there's anything in there you think I should put in the trading challenge, earlier rather than later, let me know in the comments, and I'll see if we can get that done. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.